everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever Sims 4 speed build. This is a little Mediterranean house I decided to build in the world of Oasis Springs. Now you can see that I'm going around here trying to figure out the form of the house, and it changes every 5 seconds. I really didn't know exactly how I wanted the house to be. I had a little bit of an inspiration image that I found on Pinterest, but it turned out completely different to what I found on Pinterest, so I'm not even going to bother showing it. But the main feature of this house is that it has a little internal courtyard, so you can see that little hole that I created just before, and I really like that feature. And actually our neighbor here has one. Well, they used to have one, and the last owners they built it in, and it no longer exists, so I suppose they gained some extra space in their house. But you see me here playing around with the roof line a lot on the upper floor, and it changes completely from what you see here. And I end up making like that middle section, yeah, see, like another story up. And I wanted to create like this little balcony off the front, which was like the main inspiration for this build, and the rest was just sort of winging it, if you want to call it that. But I found doing like a little roof line around the back quite difficult, so you'll see me fiddling around here trying to make the right roof line, and I end up changing it again because I cut a little section out of the side later on in the video. I'll show you that. But here I'm creating the little patio at the back with these little arches, and it's quite small now, but it ends up being bigger again. And now we're on the inside, and trying to create a floor plan for this house was so difficult. So some of the rooms are really oddly shaped, and I'm playing around with walls and that at the moment, but it ends up being completely different to what you see here. But there's that little atrium courtyard in the middle with arches, and it's viewable from like every room in the house. And anyways, this is the front entranceway, and I saw this little trick with the making the archway is bigger. And anyways, I go with a different archway. This one's from Felix Andre, a CC creator, and because I really wanted a much larger archway at the front entrance there, and I just think this worked out so perfectly. Now I'm just like gathering all of the different windows I think that I might use in the build, and I put them on this little spare wall at the front here, just collecting them all. I don't end up using all of them, but a majority of them I do end up using. And now I'm playing around with different types of walls I think I might use, like the different tiles for walls that I might use, and the different plasters, because Mediterranean's got like this I would say sandy brown finish to it. And again, I don't end up using half of these walls, but I didn't know how I wanted to put them together, so I just had them all there just in case I wanted to use them. So I changed out the front door to one of those other windows I'd picked before. And so I was using a lot of these windows and doors, and thought that I would use dark windows and door frames throughout, but I ended up changing the front ones. You can see 2 arched windows at the front there in dark timber, but they end up being light timber because I think it just worked better. And so now I'm just going around trying to pick the right wall colors for the external parts, and in the courtyard there I went for like the plaster wall finish, but in the end it changed to like the stone wall finish, just because it worked better with the little front porte cochere, I think that's the name of it. But anyways, I did something really funny with the staircase, which you'll see in a minute. It's actually going to be an enclosed in its own room, which you think, oh my goodness, why would you do that? But it ended up being like this cute little room with sort of, it's got like a little cat bed in it and a little notice board for the family. And I just really liked it. But so you'll see me enclose the staircase here, and there I was changing the walls to the atrium to that rock walls, and here I am changing the layouts of the walls upstairs again. And here's that little cutout I talked about earlier, and I had to readjust the whole roof line again, but I think it ended up being much more interesting, so I was really happy that I changed it in the end. So yeah, the roof ended up being so much better, and I'm hoping that I won't have this much of a problem going forward, and maybe I'll make something a little bit more simplistic next time. So you can see me now trying to create the front fence line, and I really wish that we could do half walls as a curved wall, but anyways, maybe in a future release we'll get that. But I really liked this sort of curve. I think it went with the arches on the front of the house, the front entranceway and the front windows. Now I'm just placing some floor tiles and terrain paint, well, to cover up those floor bits that come with those curved corner pieces. And here I'm using like a debug fence, and literally all I did was search for fence, and that's what came up, and I thought it was perfect to suit this house. Now I'm using the Better Build by Twisted Mexi, and it just makes everything so much easier to find, so I really highly recommend using that. Now we're moving over to the little powder room, which is really the only bathroom on the downstairs. It's just got a toilet and a basin in it. It's not overly decorated. It's very simple. It's got doors out to the rear patio, and this is where I'm sort of first playing around with that OMSP red shelf, and I'm still getting used to how it works, but I think just it requires practice, and I'll get much better at it. So but in here I put like this little stool. I think I'm using a lot of CC from Felix Andre and Hey Harry here. Their stuff is just so beautiful, and if you're not using it, well, I feel sorry for you because it's just so gorgeous. Anyway, so I'm playing around with the curtains here, and this is my first time ever using the tool mod, and oh my gosh, it's so great, and I love it for making things scaled bigger or smaller, and I love it for elevating things up or down. I haven't really played around with rotating objects with it too much yet, but maybe one day. I really struggle with moving objects with it though. I think that requires a lot more practice, so I need to really get in and do some more practicing with the tool mod for moving items. Anyway, so now we're in the kitchen, and the layout changes quite a bit. I had this door leading to the outside, which I really liked the fact that you could walk out from the kitchen to outside, but in the end I delete it and make more cabinet space, because I just think you need more cabinet space for any kitchen, even in The Sims. So I'm just adding some decorations here. I really enjoyed it, even though I'm still learning how to place objects in the right way. So you'll see me twisting things around, but how cool is this kitchen from the latest For Rent pack for The Sims? I just think it's got like this really cool aesthetic to it with these different woods and timbers in it. So I really enjoyed using it actually. And anyways, that door is gonna get removed in a minute, and you'll see me, moving more cabinets in and shifting the upper cabinetry around, and in the end, that's pretty much the layout that I go with, even though I shift the fridge around quite a few times, and make sure we've got a rubbish bin in there, and Anyways, I'm moving on to the dining room, and I was really liking this dining room actually. It's really simple, it's not too big, but you can fit so many people in this dining room in this tiny space. And again, I'm using chairs from this new Ferret pack, so I was really happy with that, and using the tool mod to increase the scale of the rugs, which is just awesome. I love it, and I do this with nearly every rug that I'm using. So with the decorations for this room, it was pretty simple. I changed the curtains around quite a bit, and that picture on the wall there, that's from Little Dicker, the Delicato set, which is just really pretty. So I decided to use it. I scaled it up using the tool mod again, and I had to remove the windows here to get the curtains to work because they were just bugging me so much, and I seem to have so much trouble placing curtains over windows. And you'll see me do this in the next room, in the living room. They were annoying me so much, and you'll see in the screenshots at the end of the video that I completely changed the curtains over the windows because they were poking out of the walls, the original ones, and they just was giving me so much grief, so I had to get rid of them and change them, which I wasn't happy about, and I really don't like the fact that I had to use different windows. Anyways, now we're in the living room, and I just felt like it really needed a fireplace, so I'm building this chimney off the side. And again, I had problems with the little chimney at the top. I cut it out of the video because I was playing around with it so much. It was just ridiculous. And the same here with the fireplace. I put a TV above the fireplace, like as if it was hanging like off the wall of the fireplace. And I was using the tool mod again, and using that move function was just, I need so much more practice with it, but in the end I got it there. But I cut out all of the troubles I was having. You'll see me moving it around quite a bit here anyways, but I've got to practice. Anyways, in this I use one of my own CC creations, which is a little vase with a plant coming out of the top of it. So you'll see me add that in a second. It'll sit on the mantelpiece of the fireplace. So these curtains, don't they look good? But in the end they get deleted and replaced with something else, and I don't know, maybe I'll go back in and change it again because I just like them so much better. So, but I really wanted to add lots of plants into this house. I just like lots of plants everywhere. So now you can see me, that's my CC object, which I'm just starting to learn how to make now. And it's from my first dining room set, and it'll be available once this is available for download for everybody for free. But yeah, here I am using the tool mod again to scale objects, and I use that same vase of mine, and I scale it up quite a bit because normally I made it so that it would fit on like a dining room table, but I really like it much bigger as well. And there's 4 different options of the vase. One is a large vase with no plant in it, one is a large vase with a plant in it, one's a small vase with no plant, and then one is a combination of the 2 vases together with the plant in it, with a whole bunch of different colors to suit whatever you need to put in there. So anyways, I hope you really like it. So you can see my staircase is enclosed, and it's got a little archway in there because I wanted to cut it off. And there's little things in there, like a little room as well. But this room at the front of the house is, I would call it the guest room, or it could be for a teenager. And it's really the only room in the house that's got a desk and a computer, and so guest room / office, I guess. But I really enjoyed the way it turned out and the colors, and I'm using Pierre Sim's oak bedroom set, or oak house set I think it's called, for the side tables and some of the paintings on the wall. There's a few more items once we get upstairs into the main bedroom that are by Pierre Sim as well. I've since then gone and downloaded a whole bunch of CC from Pierre Sim because it's just beautiful objects, and I hope to use a lot more of his objects going forward. But yeah, this room ended up being really sweet, and I really like the decor in it, but it's simple. And now we've moved to the rear of the house, which I would just call the sitting room. It's got these three double French doors leading out onto the back patio, and I just wanted it to be a nice relaxing spot where you could pick up a book to read and just look out at the view, because this is on that lake in Oasis Springs. So I really like this idea of doubling up the rugs so that there's two different ones in it. I'm stealing from everybody's ideas because they're just amazing. And on the side here behind the couches, we have like this little console table from I think it's the Horse Ranch pack. I really like a lot of their objects, but I'm not really a huge fan of the rustic wood feel. I wish that we had the rustic wood as well as some more cleaner woods to match the rest of the woods that we get. I might have to change that myself. But I changed all the little objects to like these blue-green colors because that's what the couches were, and I wanted that calm feeling in this room. And here I'm using a combination of that Desert Luxe Kit coffee table with, I think it's from House of Harlex's coffee table. I'm not quite sure on the pack of it, but I really like putting the two of them together and created like this two-leveled coffee table. Anyways, this sort of hallway was quite large and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it, so I added some chairs. I first used those chairs from Oasis Kit, I think it was called, and in the end I changed it out to something much more comfy because it worked better. And you can sit there and look at these beautiful trees and bushes in the courtyard, and I'm sort of orientating the palm trees to be at the back so that when you enter the house you get this huge big in your face, we've got a courtyard, look at this beautiful garden. And I really enjoyed decorating it and putting like all of these grasses and tropical plants and a couple of flowers in there, and it's viewable from everywhere. And I end up adding in a palm tree as well because the trees don't really extend past the ground floor, and I really wanted something to be seen from the upper floor as well, rather than having to stand at the balcony and look down. Now this is the bathroom upstairs, and really it's the only bathroom that has a shower and a bath in it. So unfortunately the downstairs bedroom doesn't have a shower. Downstairs they have to come upstairs to have a shower, but them's the breaks. So I'm using Felix Andre made this beautiful bathroom set, and these beautiful colors in it, and that's one of the basins that I'm using for it. And here I am playing with that red shelf again, and I was using a lot of products from the Hey Harry and Felix Andre collaboration where they made the bathroom. So after I finished the bathroom, I was working on this little tiny infant's room, and as you can see, it's the most odd shape room ever, but I figured they're so tiny it doesn't matter what shape it is. And yeah, I had trouble decorating it to make it quite pretty. I don't know, maybe it's just I wasn't quite sure how I wanted the room to look, so I just added in some items and hope for the best on this one, unfortunately. But it's got a little rocking chair and a crib and somewhere where you can change the baby. So this is my favorite room in all of the house, is the main bedroom, and yes, it's open to the courtyard. You can see straight into it, and I'm using Pierre Sim's oak house set here. I just love all the dark timbers and I wanted to use like every item out of the pack. Anyways, here I am playing around with the layout of the room, and I wanted the bed to face the courtyard, so maybe they had a nice view of the courtyard, and I added even some more plants because, as I said before, there wasn't too much poking up to the second floor. Yeah, so I ended up deleting this wall behind the bed. In a minute you'll see me do that, and I put in a screen, and it's from Felix Andre's Kyoto set, and it's a beautiful set, and the dark timber screen for it was just so perfect. And those green chairs are also, I think, either Felix Andre or Hey Harry. They just do amazing stuff. It's easy to get their items confused because they're just so beautiful. Anyways, those screens, I put 2 in, and I made sure that they overlapped so it was long enough to look so good. But this sort of changing area behind the screens, I really struggled with how to decorate it. So I put a bunch of boxes in and shoes, and on that little table I put these folded up t-shirts or shirts, and we really need some more folded up clothes for our robes because these were all the same, just different colors. So I try and put an extra layer on top there so it looks like the piles are a different height, and maybe there's more clothes there or different clothes there. And I put some cushions in and some other clutter items, but I wasn't exactly happy with the way it worked out. I also seem to have had trouble with those blinds as well, so I put the same ones in the walking room as well as in the what I'm calling the multi-purpose room later on, but I think that's just my inexperience with the tool mod and using it correctly. So using all this green in this room, I just love it. And I think green is like a trend at the moment for interiors because it's just so fresh. Anyways, I added this little side table. I don't think it's a dresser. It's from Pierre Sim, his Oak House collection. And I added these paintings on top, and I used the tool mod to move them in front of each other so they sort of had like this stacked look, and I had so much trouble working it out, and so I cut all that out of the video. Now you can see there I used those little vases that I created. One's green and one's a cream color, so you're able to change the colors, and it worked perfectly for sitting on top of that little side table there. And I added some clutter to this fireplace over here, and I actually used some vases at the base of the fireplace where I put a spiky plant within it, and that's a really cool trick to do if you want to make your own sort of custom content without actually building it yourself. Is just so put that little spiky thing inside and resize it using the tool mod, because the tool mod's not really going to be custom content. It just changes sizes and locations of the objects within the game. So highly recommend it. Requires lots of practice. I need a lot more practice on it. And I'm just finishing off the final touches to the main bedroom before I head to the balcony at the front here, where I use Felix Andre and Hey Harry's Jardin set, which is an outdoor set, and it's just perfect for this little balcony area, little table and plants and that. And I add a few more hanging plants later on to add a bit more greenery to the balcony. And I've added these little hanging lanterns all around the house. You don't see all that, but they're there. And now this is the little kids' room, and I imagine that a little boy lived in this room and he just adores the color blue and is a bit of a child prodigy. He plays the violin, he likes science, he's won many awards, and I wanted to fit in a bed, a chemistry set, a desk, and a little reading area. So trying to fit all of those things into one room was just a little bit of a nightmare. So I play around with the settings a bit, but then I go for this bunk bed with the desk underneath, and it just worked out so much better. And I have to say, this is probably my second favorite room of the whole house because, well, I love blue too, and it was just so much fun to decorate the kids' room and put this little monster chair there and add some book clutter and make sure the lamp was there that they can't get nightmares, and all the awards on the wall, and I add in a little poster from one of the universities as an inspiration for his future, and there's just shelves and clutter and all these awesome things. And I added in these little statues, like little dude collectible thingies, like as if he's collecting them. Here they are here. I'm not quite sure what they're called, but I just thought it was cool that he would have a collection of them up on this shelf up here. And the only thing I really couldn't fit into his room was his violin, so I had to put that in the multi-purpose room, which is next to his room anyways. And there's also a chess set because he's a smart cookie. Anyways, I add this little tiny cushion here to this chair. I thought that was really a cute detail. So yeah, this is the multi-purpose room. So you've got a decorations box. I think I ended up deleting it actually because it didn't quite fit. Or I might leave it there. I can't remember. But there's a chess set, and I add in a bunch of couches from Felix Andre. They're like these oversized couches, and you'll see me add them in a minute. But I really struggled with the placement of it just because of the size of the room, and I thought I'd put in an armchair, but because they are oversized, it just didn't quite work too well. Yeah, so I did move that decorations box. I didn't get rid of it, thank goodness. So yeah, in the end, I have the couches facing each other, and I put in this really pretty rug and a little pretty side table. But yeah, this room was just so your family can come and play games and have fun. And I add in, I think these are CC curtains, possibly from Felix Andre again, or they could be from Pierre Sim. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to write that information down in the description. Anyways, yeah, so I add in those blinds again that I used for the bedroom walk-in robe into the side windows above the stairs here, and they were giving me grief too, so you probably don't see me put them in the video. And here's another little chair you can sit at and read, and I just really love having places to sit and read around the house, so I really tried to add a lot of those into this build, and I really like that fuzzy mat as well. Yeah, here's where I'm putting in the blinds, and yeah, so they look good in the end. So now we've moved out to the patio, and I end up making it much bigger than originally done because it just was too small for what it needed to be. And I added in these chairs, and I add in a table and plants and lighting, and it ends up being like a really cool space. But I extended the fences along the sides, but I didn't add a fence to the back of the property because it looks out on that beautiful lake, and I didn't really want anything to obstruct the view out there. And I'll talk about it a little bit in a minute, but here's one of my favorite spots, the barbecue area, and I used a lot of the items from the Desert Luxe kit. I think it's one of the best kits we've ever had. It's got this awning that comes out. It's so gorgeous. Anyways, this barbecue area, I was trying to find the right kitchen counter for it, and this horse ranch one just worked so perfectly. And I tried to make the benches go around the corner because I was thinking, I'll add the bar next to it, but it just looked weird, and I decided against it and moved the bar opposite the barbecue area. But I add in a little picnic table there as well in a minute. But now we're working on the side garden and the front garden, and here's where I really enjoyed using the tool mod with scaling these palm trees, because it makes it look like there's all different types of palm trees and growing at different rates, and they really match the area that it's in. And on the side here I was using plants to sort of block the gap that I couldn't fill with fencing, and I do it on the other side but with a different type of bush. Anyways, I wanted to add these hedges in, and they're a debug item, and I originally put them in front of the fence, but then I was like, well, why did I have a fence there if you can't see it? So I decided to put it behind the fence, and I add some grasses along the front. And those little pillars I added in, I just grabbed some outdoor lighting and placed them using move objects on, and raised them with the bracket keys so that they sat just above the top of those pillars, and they work so cute. I love that look. But yeah, I'm just adding in a whole bunch of landscaping here. I really wasn't sure what my ideal was going to be or what look I was trying to make. I was just picking plants that I think look good together and put them in there. But in the corner of these planters, at the fence line in the corners, I just added in regular plants and raised them up. I didn't even change the size of them, but because there were so many other plants underneath them, it didn't really matter that they weren't sitting on the ground. So there's my little trick with the lamps again. And I played around a lot with the terrain paint, and I need a lot more practice with the terrain paint. Now I'm using these little, I think the planter or the vase actually is from a Felix Andre set, and I just put these trees inside of them because I just really liked the look of them in a big planter. And yeah, that's probably my favorite part of the landscaping, to be honest, and it really works with the Mediterranean style. And yeah, using that tool mod to create like the 3 different sizes of those bushes, and you can just create so much variety and realism using the tool mod. That side of the house is so dead space that I just added some extra planting along the side, so because there's no windows or doors really. And then I added a hot tub out the back, and it's actually a sunken hot tub, and it works really, really well. And I add some rocks in later, so it almost looks like it's part of the scenery. But yeah, this is part of why I wanted the back of the house to be open and not have a fence, because you can sort of see that it connects to the environment outside and down to that lake or pond, whatever it is. And I didn't want to have anything obstructing the view, and I wanted it to be so that if you walk straight out there you could. And here I'm just using that tool mod again, you can push some of these objects off the lot, and I think that's what the tool mod was originally made for, so that you can move the objects off the lot, and it just meshes in so well with the existing scenery around that I just had to add it all in. And I added some extra plants behind the hot tub to have a little bit of privacy there. And I probably wasn't exactly 100% happy with the way the landscaping worked out at the back, but that's what we went with. And but a lot of planting could come from the debug menu and from the main menu as well, and using that better build by and live edit and debug from Twisted Mexi is just, it makes building so much easier and finding objects so much better. And I added the little monkey bars and for the kids, and there's a bicycle, and he's even got a little rocket launcher as well for the kids. But I added this hedge along the side there because I wanted for the living room and the dining room for something to look out at, because I believe there's only rocks in the environment to look out on, so I wanted a little bit more greenery to look out on when you're sitting in the dining room and the living room. And it's really not too much more about the exterior here. It's pretty much just adding a couple more plants, and that's really the end of the build. Anyways, that was my first ever speed build video, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. Catch you later. Bye.